Hey everybody, it's the Ancient Meddler here, and I'm doing a follow-up to a short that I did the other day on uh, a siphon coffee maker that I got. So I'm going to go through the process of making a pot of coffee using this thing, and you guys can see how awesome it is because it's pretty cool. So anyway, this is the siphon coffee maker. It doesn't come with this pink thing. This pink thing was extra. It comes with a little burner that uses alcohol burner to heat up the bottom unit. So the way it works is you put your coffee grounds in this thing, and you put hot water or water in this bottom unit, and then you heat it up with a flame. And then as the water, you'll see it in a minute, as the water here boils, the vapor goes up this tube in here into this chamber and heats the coffee grounds. And then once this is full and most of the water has gone up, you turn off the fire, and then as it cools, the suction from the vapor cooling draws the coffee back down through here, and there's a filter there. So I've already made one pot of coffee this morning, so my filter is kind of used already. But I'm going to reuse it. So anyway, let's get started with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is put coffee in here. And so it's trial and error when you do this. The instructions that they give you tell you, like, put a massive amount of coffee in this thing. And this one holds 600 milliliters. I think that's right. Yeah, it's like 600 milliliters of coffee. And the instructions say, okay, so for each cup of coffee, put 120 milliliters of water. And then one scoop, and this is the scoop, one scoop of coffee for each cup. So that's 5 scoops of this, and then 600 milliliters of water, right? Well, the problem is it comes out like tar when you do that, like molasses, and that's a little strong. So it takes trial and error and making several cups of coffee and several pots of coffee before you figure out what's right for you. And for us, it's different. So I got it down to two of these, and it makes pretty decent coffee, pretty strong coffee. So we're going ahead and do that step now. So, okay, so here's the coffee that I'm using. So this is actually Seattle's Best coffee. I think this was something, hold on. Yeah, so this is Seattle's Best Post Alley coffee, and it's already ground, so I didn't have to grind it. And this is pretty strong. It's a dark roast, and I like a dark roast. So if you don't like a dark roast, you'll have to, experiment and try and figure out how many scoops works best for you. But for me, I like a fairly strong cup, and so I'm going to use 2 scoops of this. So there's a little heaping, so I'm going to scrape it down. Okay, there you go. That's about one scoop. And you make sure you put the filter in first. And the filter locks to the bottom, so I'll show you that too. So there's like a chain that comes out with a spring, and then you pull this down until you put it underneath the lip of the glass, and it hooks on. So that makes sure that your filter is very tight so that coffee doesn't go underneath it. And it really works. So that was one of the most amazing things, is that you get no coffee grounds in the bottom of your cup. It's very clean. So they're going to 1 scoop, and here's the second one, and then a second scoop goes in. Okay, and then that can just sit there for now. All right, so that's just going to sit there while we do the next step. So use filtered coffee. So I have my Bria filter here, so we filter out all the impurities in the coffee so you don't get calcium buildup and stuff like that going on, and you get the best results. Now, first time I did this, I just used tap water, room temperature water. So I took the water directly from my Brio and put it, whatever that's called, Brita filter, and I put it in this thing over here, right? And I filled it all the way up to 600 milliliters, and then turned the flame on, and it took forever. It took forever to heat up. So then we decided, hey, we got this thing over here. It's a teapot, and it heats up water. So if you use hot water, maybe it'll go faster. And then did that, and lo and behold, it worked way faster. So the great idea is preheat your water. So we're gonna put water in here. Just add the water from my Brita filter mug jug thing. All right, and then put this on to boil, which is this black boil setting right here. So it says black boil. Turn that on. That takes a few minutes. And so while that's heating up, I'll go ahead and explain what happened. Why do I have this pink thing? Well, this came with a alcohol burner with a wick. And so it didn't come with any fuel. And I had some fuel left over from a fondue set. And so I used that. It worked really well. And then it ran out. So I wasn't sure what to get. So I went on Amazon and I searched for fuel for a syphon coffee burner, right? And a bunch of things came up. And the first one that came up was like bestseller and was highly rated. And so I bought that, got it here, put it in the alcohol burner, and it worked. It produced a very big flame though. And then this whole glass thing turned black and was covered in soot. And I went back and looked, and it says sootless, smokeless fuel. Not supposed to produce any kind of smoke, not supposed to produce soot. And I looked at it more carefully, and it was lamp oil. And you're supposed to use alcohol. So kind of ruined my wick, and so I had to buy more wicks, and then I had to buy more fuel. And I started looking at that and thinking, this is not cheap. It adds up pretty quickly. So I found there's alternative are these butane burners. And so this little guy, it's a butane burner, and I also got that on Amazon. And so they work amazingly. You just turn this handle to turn the fuel on, and then you push this down to click it, and boom, you get flames. So I'll see how that works. In a minute, we're gonna light that up, but not until we have the water hot. So I'm gonna wait for the water to heat up, and I'll be back in just a second. All right, the water's pretty much ready. It hasn't finished. It hasn't turned off yet, but I can hear the boiling sound, so I can tell it's just about to finish. So we'll go ahead and put the water in. And so I'm gonna make 600 milliliters. So you fill it up to the top line, which is right there. And you got to get it in the right spot. Okay, pour the water in. You can see it's really hot. It's boiling water, so don't touch the glass now because it's boiling hot. And you just fill that all the way up to the line. Like that. I want it a little over, that's okay. Okay, and now it says wait until you have it going before you put the top on, but I find it doesn't matter, so I go ahead and put it on now. So you just put it in, and you just kind of wiggle it down until it's in there well, and then make sure it's straight. Looks good, okay. And then now we're ready to start the burner, so I'm gonna put this back in place. Just put it underneath it like that, and now we're gonna start it. Okay, so you just turn the gas on by going counterclockwise till you hear it hissing, and then push this down and it starts. Okay? Alright, so you can see the fire is underneath there. You can adjust it, you can make it more intense, or you can turn it down, just turning this little dial. And then you can see it's like a chemistry project. Feels like I'm back in high school. You can see the water starts to boil pretty quickly. And I don't know if you can tell, but you can see where there's like a dark line right here. See the dark line? This is already getting wet. from the steam and stuff coming up through the bottom. But you'll see it rapidly starts to rise as the water level here goes down. You can see it starting to go down. It's below the number, and it just keeps getting lower and lower as the hot boiling water vapor goes up the tube into the top. See how it's steamy and the water's coming in there? And then the other thing they tell you to do is to stir this gently. So I use the bottom of the spoon that came with it, and you just put it in and you kind of just gently stir it to make sure you get good good mixing and a good coverage of the coffee. Now it's really starting to go rapidly. So yeah, this is the exciting part. I mean, if there is an exciting part. And you can see the water's really boiling down here. Now once it gets to this point, the water's not going to all go up there. Or if it does, it will take forever. They say once it gets to this point, you wait about 30 seconds to 40 seconds so that this really gets time to seep. And then you just turn the fire off. So this goes clockwise. Turn the fire off. And now, as the lower chamber cools, the pressure reduces, because this is all about pressure, right? So the steam creates pressure. The pressure pushes the water up the tube. And so as the pressure in the chamber reduces because it's cooling, I think that's called the Bernoulli principle, maybe, I don't know. Then now you can see the coffee start coming down. And it goes through the filter, so you get the coffee liquid without any of the coffee grounds. And it just slowly flows back through into the bottom chamber. So you may be thinking, dude, that's a lot of work to make a pot of coffee. And yeah, kind of it is, but it's also kind of cool. So it's a fun thing to do. And if you have like kids around, don't let them touch it because they'll get burnt, right? But it's fun for them to see, and it's like kind of like doing science experiments or something like you would in school. So, as you can see, it's getting closer. It's still not there yet, but it's about halfway. No, it's more than halfway. All right, it's almost done. It's pretty close to the top, and I started making bubbling sounds like blub, 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 blub. And it leaves a lot of residue up here, but very little down in here. All right, so that's pretty much done now. So it never seems to go all the way back up. You lose a little bit due to evaporation, but now you just take this part off. Be very careful because it's very hot down here at the bottom, but up at the top it's not hot. And you just wiggle it and kind of turn it. Usually it takes 2 hands to do this, so I'm being dangerous by doing it with 1 hand. And I'm gonna set this down while I do it. There we go. It came loose. So you just pull it out slowly. And then you set it in this little stand that it came with that holds it in place, so it doesn't fall over. And now we have a pot of coffee. So let's go ahead and pour it into a cup so you can see it. Well, let's take a look at this coffee first. So it's pretty dark because I like it that way. And then we're going to pour it into this glass cup so you can see what it looks like. And there it is. You can see there's I don't know if you can tell, but there's no grounds and there's no residual stuff. So, and now it's really hot, so you got to be careful. Yeah, but that's a perfect cup of coffee. It's so good because it just, I don't know, you can't make a better tasting cup of coffee. So again, you have to adjust this to your own personal preferences, and you have to experiment with it until you get the mix that you think works best for you, the right amount of coffee to the right amount of water. So for me, it's 2 scoops and 600 milliliters of water, and it's perfect. All right. I'm going to go enjoy this second cup of coffee. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.